Welcome to the Loveland Report Loan Arranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Loan Arranger. We're going to talk about your real estate news, your mortgage news, what's going on. We've got some great things today, Bruce. Sales numbers are in for last month for April. So we've got numbers on sales, numbers on listings, the inventory numbers. I want to talk also about, should you pick the realtor that's in your neighborhood, or should you pick a bigger realtor like me? We're going to dive into some reasons.
I can answer that question for you.
We'll
you
get
don't
into
even
that.
need to. You don't even need to ask it.
I
I can already tell you what to
All
do.
right, I want to discuss some things I'm seeing out there in the market. What do you got going on?
I've got a lot of things going on because the market's been a little bit shaky lately, if you could, whatever word you want to use, but we've lost some ground in the bond market. And this is why our listeners stick with us and listen to us, because we don't give out fake news. Here's the reality of it. The bond market is really taking a dive here in the last 2.5 weeks. And since we started bombing, it took a dive. But just in the last couple of weeks, you saw gas prices go up some 20 cents in one day, like a couple of times. Rates did the same thing. So they've moved from about 6.25 to about 6.5 to 6.75 on a 30-year fixed right now. That slowed the market down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Now, not as much as I thought. I'm still getting refinances. I'm still getting purchases, but I will tell you that you can just expect that's going to happen. I don't see that's going to get better in the next couple of weeks. It could be in a few months, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
Now we're getting indications from the Fed, because we got Warsh in now.
Yep.
We're getting indications from the Fed. Now, he hasn't officially announced this, but there's been chatter that they may raise the Fed rate instead of lowering.
But if they raise that rate, the Fed rate, doesn't that help bonds?
It could help bonds. The reason that we are seeing this, like the reason that we're seeing interest rates deteriorate, meaning that they've gone up, is strictly because of the bond yield has gone up. The price has gone down, the bond yield is up, and it's affecting the market. And that's happening because of inflation. We were down to 2%, 2.1%.
Yeah.
Now we're up to 6%, but it's artificially inflated. That's not a real inflation number.
Yeah.
It is an inflation number, and I believe it's accurate, because you and I both know during the Biden administration, they would give us an inflation number and we'd go, that doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, they'd correct
Revise it. Yeah.
They'd correct it. But what we're seeing right now is inflation is up, and that could cause pressure to raise rates. But I think this inflation is temporary. As soon as we can start getting the Strait of Hormuz back flowing again,
Yep.
I think that we're going to see interest rates drop.
Bombs
again.
start dropping again. Then that lasts another 2-3 weeks as they bomb the heck out of them again and straighten them out. They're going to capitulate sooner or later. The Straits of Hormuz will open, and these things will probably set aside. But I just thought what's interesting, Bruce, is I always talk about 2025 was busier than 2024, slightly. And these are still slow markets. Over the past 15 years, I think 24 was our slowest market in the past 15 years.
Yep.
And then the number of listings actually went down. We're about a 5 months, less than just under a 6-month supply, about a 5.5 month supply, which is good. That means sellers market still. Slow appreciation. The number of new listings is down from last year. So the number of new homes entering the market, which is good. And then the closed sales, we did not beat last year, probably because of the interest rate spike.
But how far off were we?
Like less than 3%.
Okay.
So this year we're running about dead even. We beat 2 months. We lost 2 months trying to beat 20.
I guarantee you we would have been ahead of it if it wasn't for the for the war.
Well, I
guarantee you, we
Yeah.
were on pace to beat it. And I think that as soon as, like I said, as soon as we can get this stuff wrapped up, I think we're going to be back in motion. And I think people are going to jump back in the market. Right now, I'm seeing, Cleve, more of an opportunity for buyers, but buyers don't always understand that. You know that, right?
Yep.
That all the time. But if less buyers are entering the market, then sellers are willing to make deals. But I'm seeing it's almost a neurotic market, because one pocket, I got a client that's having to bid over ask price to get a house.
Yep.
And then in another one, they're getting 6% in closing costs.
Well, that's why it's important, your realtor. If you hire a realtor with a buyer broker agreement, that realtor knows how to look. So that one that went over asking price probably was a great price to start with.
It was underpriced.
Possibly, if it's got multiple offers, could be close to it. But knowing that is what's hard to determine. I had one I was getting multiple offers on last week, and I had an agent send me an offer 15% below asking price.
And you're getting offers over
And I was
ask
nice
price.
about it. And I said, why do you think that makes sense when I've got multiple offers on the table? And she
Right.
couldn't answer me.
No, of course not.
I told her to go ask her broker. She said she'd never met him.
She never.
Because she's in a virtual company that just hired her.
She did not say
she
that.
did. I swear to God, Bruce. And so it's just, you've got to have a good agent helping you, because
I've never met my broker.
Exactly. I
I
mean,
think that's
they
right.
filled
With
out
these
some-
big offices,
they
they
filled
don't
out
know
some
who their
compliance
broker is.
paperwork, and they filled out the forms, but it's part of the problem out there. You can pick, and just, if I got a nickel every time I hear about hiring my friend, hiring my family member.
So let's talk about that, because I think this is an important issue, and I have to deal with it all the time. When you guys pick a bad realtor, I'm just telling you, it makes it difficult. And the problem is, when I've got a client that comes to me and that real estate agent may be nice. I don't mean a bad person. It could be a nice person. They may even have them on a good drip, not a drip. What do you call it when you're giving them setting them up in MLS to find the listings, right? So
just do a search. Yeah.
It's a search, right? So they may even do that, but they're not negotiating very well for the buyer, or the seller, or they're not giving them right information. So if you pick, and I know you probably don't like this, but I don't care. I don't like people going to the listing agent as a buyer as much as I do having your own representation. Okay. I know it's always nice to double dip a deal, but I like it if I've got a buyer and they're out searching and they go to the listing agent, I don't feel like that listing agent is as much of an advocate for them as they would if I said, hey, can you hire Cleve to be your buyer's agent? He'll negotiate for you. And you know whether the listing agent is priced right or priced wrong, or how to help them negotiate.
Yep.
But what happens is, I don't like people going to the listing agent, because it's like going into a lawsuit and asking the opposing counsel for advice. That's silliness.
Yeah.
So then I don't like you picking a relative, because the relative is going to screw the deal up. And then you're going to have to go have Christmas dinner with them at some point, or Thanksgiving dinner. And that's going to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You don't need to mix your family stuff with that. And what you need to do is look at the numbers. And here's where clients don't understand. Look at the real numbers. And I will tell you this much, Cleve. I know you're a big producer, and I know the quality of workmanship you do. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with one of your clients yesterday. I'm actually going to have dinner with them. Here's what he said. I said, how do you know Cleve? He says, well, I've known him for about 8 years. He talked to me about selling my house. Oh, I said, so you've used him before? He says, actually, I used my sister or somebody. And I said, you're not going to use him again? He went, no, I made a mistake. And I said, so now are you looking to sell? He says, no, I'm actually looking to buy. And he's qualified up to $1 million easily. He could pay cash for it, actually. So this is a guy that didn't use you, and then came back and said, I really wish I would have done that the right way the first time.
You'll do the same thing, Bruce. Somebody calls and says, hey, I'm with Navy Fed. I'm with this credit union or that bank. And you'll say, hey, let's look at rates. This is what sounds right. This is what sounds wrong. You give that advice all the time for free.
Of course we do.
You don't charge an application fee.
No.
So it's just, but that's what's important and what people don't realize. And I think this is what happens is they'll have a bad experience because they don't do it this often. Somebody owns a house on average, 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
And they might have
7 years.
Yeah. 5 to 7, or it might be longer. Some people I see, but they might have 2 or 3 mortgages on that, but that's still not a lot of transactions for them to have experience.
No, it's not.
Or know the right way to do something.
What's your phone number?
My phone number, 407-352-8118. I will be out and about this weekend.
Yep. Or you can call the Loan Arranger. Get your application started now. We don't even do a hard credit pull. We do a soft inquiry to get things started. Why would I want to negatively affect your credit? That would be silliness. So now you've got to have a full credit report before you can go under contract, because the contract wants to know that you've been fully approved for a loan. But why do that until you're ready? So you call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144, or go to webringyouhome.com. We can help you with purchasing. We can help you with refinancing, VA, FHA. Listen, I've been helping veterans for 36 years. Veterans don't think that USAA is your best choice. Believe me, I'll even shop it in front of you and show you the differences. I'll shop Rocket Mortgage in front of you and show you the differences that you get here. And you will get a lot more extras. Construction loans, renovation loans, reverse mortgages are becoming quite popular. I have been really working harder on my reverse mortgages. For some of you, I don't think it's the right thing to do. For some of you, it's definitely the right thing to do. I'm actually considering it for my cousin Noreen right now. And so if you're interested in investigating that, you call the Loan Arranger. We have everything. And we don't broker you out and shop your credit all over the countryside. We do everything internal. Everything from the moment you call us all the way through funding the loan and even servicing it. We keep over 90% of the loans that we do. So everything's done in-house, folks. Call the Loan Arranger at 407-250-9144, and we will bring you home. Go to webringyouhome.com. So we've talked a little bit about why you should use a good quality real estate agent.
Or mortgage guy, yep.
Or mortgage person, right? It's important. And to be honest with you, it's the most important part of the real estate transaction. I have read statistics. Now, I think these are high. I don't know. Somebody must really be screwing up a lot of loans, because there's a statistic that I read that 67% of transactions that involve a real estate transaction and a mortgage don't close on time or don't close at all. Now, that's a huge percentage. Now, for me, if I had 1% didn't close on time, my hair's on fire.
I have a few more, but I can't control all the buyers all the time on my listings. So I don't have a choice on the lender sometimes. I try and get them to you. So I'd say mine's probably about 20% don't close on time, but I find out that reason. Here's the important part. Why did it not close? Is it a deal killer? And usually, you know how I tell that, Bruce? When we email them 3 times and we call them 3 times and we get no response on either, and then we call looking for the branch manager or we call looking for the boss and nobody answers, it's usually a deal killer. And that's when I say, you got to go to Bruce.
I'm going to tell you, most of the time that people don't close, it's because of the lender that they choose. And I guarantee you, if you want to choose your bank, like Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Citibank or any local bank, they don't care if you close on time. I'm just telling you right now, they're the worst at missing closing dates. And there's consequences to that. You could physically lose your escrow deposit, especially if you had multiple offers on a house. And now all of a sudden the other agent's calling you, asking you for an extension on the contract. That could be a real problem for you.
Tell me this, if we get to the appraisal on a transaction, it means most of the paperwork's in, right? You guys don't order an appraisal until you've got all the docs.
I will tell you this much right now. When you come to me, by the time you get to appraisal, you should be already in underwriting with me. If you're not, it's because you have not given my team the documents they need. I actually had a meeting about this with my team yesterday, that the client has to understand the importance of getting the documents in here. By the time the appraisal's done, I want your loan to already be approved. Why do I want to wait for 3 days prior to closing? That just puts too much stress on everyone. So typically with my buyers, they're already approved before they even find the house. So I don't have to worry about that. Let's give out our numbers one more time here, and then we're going to take a short break.
All right. Loveland Properties, 407-352-8118 or cleveloveland.com.
Yeah, or call the Loan Arranger, Bruce Woodburn, right here in your backyard, servicing the entire nation with mortgages at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144, or go to webringyouhome.com. Cleve and I will be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. Don't go anywhere. I want to talk about market conditions, and I want to talk about self-employed buyers.